I think Sunday should work. I can't think of any reason why it wouldn't. Yeah, we could do that. Do this. Uh-oh.
Sorry. Did you see that?
Yes, I did see. Yes, I did see that. Yes. Oh yeah. Nope. That. Yeah. Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, I'm Robbie. Kyle is here as well. Yep. Kyle, how are you tonight?
I'm doing okay. I'm actually currently restocking my refrigerator with seltzers, so I can get ready to drink more seltzers.
Hey, you know what? I got a fever, and the only prescription is more seltzers. So there you go.
Exactly. Yep.
There you go. Great. Yeah, exactly. Great minds think alike. So that's perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, hope everybody's doing well out there. And so for tonight's episode, obviously the last couple episodes we talked about, the Super Bowl and sort of previewing and recapping the Super Bowl. But what we wanted to do today was sort of go back to a little theme that we were doing pre-Super Bowl, and that was sort of the history of sports. Kyle and I had been sort of going through different sports and sort of taking you guys through the histories of said sports. It's been really, really fun to sort of do that research and all that good stuff. So what we wanted to do tonight was I'm going to sort of review the history of the sport of lacrosse,
Nice.
which is always a fun sport. And Kyle, what sport are you going to be taking us through this evening?
I'm going to be reviewing the classic Olympic sport of, you guessed it, curling.
Oh, yeah. throwback to, if you folks who have not seen the Craig Show On a Couch Talking Sports holiday special that we did, I think back in 2016. Yeah, I think it was 2016.
It's like 5 years ago. Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah, so about 4 or 5 years ago.
Wow.
Kyle had a little moment where he brought up curling and some hilarity ensued there. So definitely check that out if you've not seen that episode already. That was a really good one, just in general. That moment included. But yeah, so Kyle, so why don't I let you kick things off tonight, and why don't you take us through what you have learned about the amazing acrobatic sport of curling.
All right, well, I'm going to first just crack open my Canada Dry Seltzer just to get me ready for this wonderful Canadian Olympic sport over here.
Great product placement.
Well, I gotta represent the homeland some way,
Yeah, exactly.
And so I want to talk about this wonderful Canadian sport, about its historic origins, actually from Scotland. Yeah, no, as a lot of people could have, I'm sure did not guess, including me. This was actually originated in Scotland, believe it or not. So it's funny because a lot of people have, I guess the nickname is called the roaring game. That's what they used to call it. And it originates from the rumbling sound the 44-pound granite stones make when they travel across the ice. So it's like the roaring of the actual, stone going on the ice, which is pretty cool. I had no idea of any of this stuff, so it's kind of nice that we get to. You can do a little research on sports like this. So it actually began in Scotland in the 16th century, where this sport was played in frozen ponds, and the Scottish term locks the earliest known curling stones, came from the Scottish regions Stirling and Perth, and apparently they date from around 1511.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I guess like they were saying in the 1600s, that's when the stones with the handles were introduced. So they kind of developed from there. So basically, so you kind of flash forward to the 1800s. They're talking about how the grand. Let me make sure I'm pronouncing this right. I have this whole information over here. They call it the Grand Caledonian Curling Club. It was formed in 1838, and it was actually apparently responsible for formulating the official rules of the sport of curling. And then I guess they renamed it in 1843. They now call it the Royal Caledonian Curling Club. I don't know. You just have to throw royal in there, not grand. Grand's not good enough. You have to go royal,
Got it. Go big or go home, man. Go big or go home.
And so I guess they said the 20th century developments of the sport. Now I'm just reading this off of the just mind you the official Olympic site here. So just this, I'm getting legitimate information here. Have been, I guess, like they said, the standardization of the stone, development of the slide delivery, and the use of indoor refrigerated ice facilities. So that was kind of all in like the 20th century. That's when those key aspects developed. So it wasn't introduced into the Olympic Games until about 1924 during the Olympic Winter Games in Chamonix, I think that's how you say it.
I mean, your guess is as good as mine there. I mean, let's be honest about all these things. So,
yeah. So if you guys hear me talk about this and you hear a little off pronunciation, just let me know. Just throw it down in the comments. I will gladly be stood corrected. In any of those situations. So I'm not here to legitimize my pronunciations here. So, and then I guess it was reintroduced again. It was kind of dropped from the Olympics, but then in 1932 they reintroduced it in Lake Placid. And as a lot of you know, Lake Placid is a huge Olympic town there, especially as you know from the 1980 hockey tournaments there.
Miracle on Ice.
Oh yeah. So I guess they also said between 1936 and 1992, curling was staged at the Olympic Games as a demonstration sport. And I guess so they're talking about some of the different areas that they staged them at. This was at in 1936. It was in Garmisch Partenkirchen. I think that's how you say it. And in Innsbruck in 1964 under the German name of Eisschießen, I think. Oh boy. Yeah, I have no knowledge of the German language, unfortunately.
Nope, not at all.
Outside of the word Gesundheit, so that's about it. And then I guess it came to Canada in Calgary in 1992 and Albertville, and in those situations they said for both men and women. And so I guess it wasn't until though Nagano in 1998, so that's like fairly recently, not that long ago.
I think now that I can actually check you on. I think it's pronounced Nagano.
Nagano, okay.
Nagano, Japan. Yes, I believe it is pronounced Nagano.
Nagano. No, I think you're right. Actually, I'm like listening to the pronunciation. I'm like, yeah, no, I think you nailed it.
I'm fairly certain. Again, someone might actually correct both of us here. So definitely drop us a comment if we're both way off. But I'm pretty sure it's Nagano.
Yeah, and I guess like they officially joined the Olympic program as more of like as more of a competitive sport instead of like a more of like a demonstration style sport with both men's and women's competition. So so curling's had a very interesting history. It didn't originate in Canada. I think a lot of people nowadays, they think it officially came from Canada, but no, it actually was from Scotland, and it kind of like developed from there. And like it was interesting how just through the Olympics that it was able to kind of get more widely known.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I never really. I mean, curling's a very interesting sport to like watch. When you watch it on TV and stuff like that. But I obviously, never really took the time to really investigate the the true origins, excuse me, of curling. So that's really cool to be able to kind of take a deep dive there into how it all came about. So thank you for that, Kyle. Much appreciated as always. So now I'm going to take over the floor here and go on to the sport of lacrosse, which
that's cool sport.
Yeah, as many of you might know, is a very sport that's very much sort of North American in heritage. It actually is the oldest organized sport in North America, dating back
really
to as early as 1100 AD in various Native American communities, and then by the 17th century was well established actually by Jesuit missionary priests in the territory of present day Canada. So Canada sort of making another
toast to that one
here. Yeah, exactly.
Clink.
Drink that Canada dry, man. I'm gonna drink Canada dry. Funny thing is I didn't even intend to do that like that, but there you go. But yeah,
on fire, Robbie.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, so the original game kind of came, sort of came from the Canadian version that was developed, and basically it is, spread from there, so to speak. Sort of different, modifications being made as the years have gone along. And then basically by the late 1800s to early 1900s was when it really, it had really spread across all the English-speaking world, the United States, England, Australia, New Zealand, and of course, within Canada. And the actual, in terms of the women's game, that was introduced in Scotland. So again, it's another Scotland reference in 1890. And in terms of the United States, the first women's club lacrosse program in the U.S. was started at the Bryn Mawr School by Rosabelle Sinclair in 1926. And at the beginning of its time in the U.S., late 1800s, early 1900s, was primarily a regional sport centered around the mid-Atlantic states, especially New York and Maryland, that area. But now sort of in the last half of the 20th century, and of course going into the 21st century, it really has spread throughout the country. And currently, or as of 2016, there were 825,000 lacrosse participants nationwide, which is pretty good. And there's actually the last sort of tidbit about lacrosse is there's actually 4 different sort of variations of lacrosse that are currently played today. There's field lacrosse, which is sort of the traditional men's version of the game, that we kind of see, in terms of all levels of men's lacrosse. There's box lacrosse, which is played by teams of 5 runners plus a goalie on a hockey rink where the ice has been removed or covered by artificial turf or an indoor soccer field. And then enclosed playing area is called a box, sort of in contrast to the open playing style of the traditional game. And that version was introduced in Canada in the 1930s. To promote business for hockey arenas outside of hockey season.
Oh, okay.
There's also women's lacrosse, which has different rules than the men's game. Oh, hold on, somebody's calling in, probably to correct us on our pronunciations from earlier. And uh, gotta love live recording here, folks. And then intercross is the last variation, and that's known as also soft stick lacrosse, and it's a non-contact form of lacrosse with a standardized set of rules using modified lacrosse equipment. And an intercross stick is different from a normal lacrosse stick, as the head is completely made of plastic and the ball is larger, softer, and hollow. So it's for more. I think intercross is for more like the younger generations of lacrosse, or the more beginners, because it sort of seems like it's sort of made more safer and more elementary, so to speak. But yeah, so that is the grand old sport of lacrosse. Definitely exciting sport. I know I enjoy watching games here on occasion. High school, college, pro. It really is a good time. It's a fun sport to watch. So it was kind of cool to kind of like with you and curling, kind of cool to go on and learn some more about it. It's kind of interesting how both the sports we discuss sort of have a lot of base in their history of Canada and or Scotland. So that's kind of wild there. But so that's lacrosse for you folks. And if any lacrosse buffs out there, or anyone interested, has any other interesting lacrosse tidbits to share, definitely drop us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. So we're now going to move on to the end portion of our episode, as we always do, with our two favorite end segments there. And we're going to go back to Kyle to start off our end segments here with another Sue's Reviews. So Kyle, what have you got for us?
All right. So, with the announcement of the brand new Matrix movie, I don't know if you guys know, but apparently they're making a fourth Matrix movie, which is kind of mind-blowing. It's like, whoa, what? Keanu Reeves and everyone's coming back? How's this going to happen? So I wanted to take the time to talk about this one game that I don't know if a lot of people remember. This one's called Enter the Matrix. It was a it's a very interesting game. It's kind of like a side story from the movie. So this takes place actually between the first and the second movie. So as whether you know the Matrix trilogy or not, it is a set of 3 movies. And originally it was supposed to be one movie, kind of like Star Wars. But then, the first movie was so popular, so they were like, "Oh, let's make a whole trilogy, and we'll make a whole series out of these." So they, especially 2003 was the biggest year for that series, and 2003 at the time, that's when GameCube, PlayStation 2, and Xbox was out. So they said, "Hey, let's make a video game, hey!" And one of the cool things about this video game is they actually filmed original footage just for the game. So all of the movie footage, literally, it's like you play the game, you play levels, and in between the levels, they actually got 2 of the actors from the movie to actually to act during these different cutscenes. And it's like you're playing through your own Matrix movie, kind of. And it's cool because one of the actors, I don't know if you can kind of barely recognize her. So this is Jada Pinkett Smith,
Wow!
Right?
Wow! I would not have recognized her, but that's pretty wild there.
Yeah, she was a bit younger, and this was back in 2003. So this was kind of when she was starting off more. This was one of her first, I think, big major blockbuster series that she was a part of, and she's one of the main characters. And the cool part about this game is that you can actually choose between it's a little glary over here. You can choose either her, and she's this character named Niobe, or you can choose this guy named Ghost. And the game is kind of this. It's a third-person shooter / fighting hybrid type of game, and they have some driving missions thrown in just for good measure. But what's interesting is I think the GameCube actually. Oh wow, they must have. The GameCube has 2 discs, so I wonder if they have both campaigns on this. So each character has a different campaign, so the levels are a little bit different. Some of the levels will be the same, but other levels will be different. So it does have a bit of replay value. And so when you play as like Ghost, you can like shoot from the car while the car is driving. So it's like it plays like an on-rail shooter during the driving missions. Or when you play as Niobe, then you get to drive the car. So it's kind of has this different kind of like, there's a lot of things to kind of go back to. When you beat the game as one character, you can go back as the other character and have a very different experience, which I think is really cool. The gameplay itself is okay. It definitely shows its age. It's definitely kind of glitchy in certain areas. Like you can see kind of some of the flaws. I feel like with a bit more time, they would have definitely been able to polish the game out a bit better. But as it stands, it's really not a bad game. I do like the slow motion fighting. You do get to pull a lot of like the Matrix moves, like when they're firing the bullets, you do actually have a bullet time mode, and you can see the bullets whizzing past you. Yeah, like that. So it's like you can just dodge them.
Slow motion, just dodging. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's great. You can do like flips in the air. You can like you can jump kick into bad guys, and they're like flying into like bookshelves. It's pretty cool. It's a neat concept. I really like it. The fighting animations themselves, I think, are pretty cool, and especially the first half of the game, I think, has some really creative level design. It does get harder later in the game, though, especially when you fight Agent Smith, because he sends all his like clone agents after you, and it gets really tricky. But honestly, it's a good experience, and you can definitely unlock some cheats, Matrix style. You can actually go into like this like system. It's like literally like the Matrix, and you can enter these codes, and it'll unlock some cool things in the game. Like you can unlock. I think you can play as different characters. Even you can get invincibility cheats, or you can even get a secret 2-player mode. Believe it or not, there's a secret fighting 2-player mode in this game where you can just like pick 2 different random characters and go one-on-one against each other, and it's cool.
Nice.
So yeah, if you're looking for kind of like a nice nostalgic kind of like, if you like the Matrix, I think you'll enjoy this game. It's not a perfect game, like I said before. It's got some glitches. it's you kind of have to get past that a little bit, and it definitely shows its age in a lot of aspects. But it's a fun game. It's a very mindless game. You can just kind of pop in and play, and yeah, especially if you're a Matrix fan, I think definitely get it. So.
Very good. Yeah, definitely. I'm sure there will be a lot of nostalgic players out there to go buy that game. So thank you, Kyle, as always, for that. So now it's time for my final thought, Robbie's final thought. And my final thought is that starting next Monday, actually, here in Massachusetts, our good old home state, high school football will be coming back after a long hiatus. Yes, practices begin next Monday for high school football. As part of the quote unquote fall 2 season from the MIAA. So I do want to say that while it is very interesting to think of high school football being played in late February through early April, which is sort of the time frame of it this year, I am very excited for the student athletes, because obviously they were very afraid that they would not get a season at all, especially with things being pushed from the fall now into, like I said, late winter, early spring here. But it is very exciting for them, especially the seniors, to be able to what's it called? Get, like I said, get a season under their belt. Get that final season. I have heard some talk that's part of this fall 2 season, that there is actually talk that there's going to be a Wellesley Needham game being played to sort of make up for the non-Thanksgiving game, that unfortunately was not contested this year due to due to the pandemic. So that's something also to hopefully look forward to as well.
Did they say when it was going to happen? Or?
No idea. I'm sure it'll be,
Okay.
very, very limited crowd, probably just parents and all that stuff, kind of like they've been doing for other sports. But still, the thought of Wellesley and Needham, being able to take the field in football in this 2020-2021 school year is definitely an exciting prospect. So a lot remains to be seen over these next coming weeks and a couple months here, but definitely some reason for optimism as well. So that's going to do it for this week's edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. Thanks as always, everybody, for tuning in. Cheers. And as always, that's Kyle. I'm Robbie, and we're signing off here for On a Couch Talking Sports, and we will catch you next time here on a Couch Talking Sports. Bye, everybody.